We are constantly watching RLUSD continue to grow every single day. When we think about RLUSD right now, market cap 440, almost 441 million, up 31% in the last 30 days. The monthly transfer volume is up 80+%, almost at $3 billion. And this is actually wrong. I've talked about it on multiple occasions. I'm waiting for RWA.xyz to actually fix this. But the total supply is now at 485 million for RLUSD. This is extremely bullish because we are watching as the transfer volume and the overall supply for RLUSD just continues to grow month over month. This is something that we have to watch because it means that we're starting to see RLUSD really become adopted and utilized, and it's starting to scale. It might be slow right now, but we're starting to see that scale happen, especially considering the fact that this recently just launched back in December officially. Now, when we think about that, the growth is being accelerated by the moves that Ripple has been making. For an example, this one from July 3rd, Swiss regulated Amina Bank becomes first bank globally to support Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin, offering custody and trading to institutional clients. This is definitely a huge one, right? Because number one, it is institutional grade adoption. This is all based around institutional clients, and this is through a major bank. And we have over here from Amina, RLUSD is now available at Amina Bank. In collaboration with Ripple, Amina enables a regulated, secure, and seamless way to custody and trade RLUSD, ideal for both institutions and individuals who demand clarity, compliance, and control. Your digital dollars are protected. RLUSD is issued from the US with independent oversight and fully backed one-to-one with cash and cash equivalents like US Treasuries. Amina, a licensed Swiss bank, provides custody and trading with the same infrastructure trusted by our clients, including global financial institutions. Always reliable, RLUSD is designed to maintain a constant one-to-one value against the US dollar. RLUSD at your fingertips. Access and manage your RLUSD directly through your Amina account on mobile or desktop with security and speed built in. RLUSD isn't just another stablecoin, it is built on Ripple's established global infrastructure combining US regulatory clarity, institutional grade custody and trading, and a global payout network. Whether you're a business optimizing your treasury or an individual exploring tokenized finance, this is stable value reimagined. And yeah, this is definitely a big one because we're now starting to see institutional adoption of RLUSD really picking up. It might not be from a massive bank, right? I mean, they have 9,200 plus followers, but it is a regulated bank and they're offering it to their clients. When we go to their website, we could see here their mission: digital assets have come of age and banking services need to rise to the challenge. Trading, investing, and storing cryptocurrencies and other digital assets should not be a bolt-on to traditional banking, but an integrated service that links to every other aspect of a client's banking services. Amina Bank was established to provide precisely, let me get away from this, one second. That links to every other aspect of clients' banking services. Amina Bank was established to provide precisely the solution to professional investors, companies, family offices, and institutions. Then we also have down here, creating the future of finance since 2019. So they are a fresh bank. And then, of course, we have their principals, their team members, board of directors as well. And then we have down here their partnerships. So we have 6 digital exchange here, a few other banks, HashKey Group, which, by the way, has major partnerships with Ripple as well. But overall, you know, this is very exciting. I'm very excited about this. I think that there's going to be a lot more partnerships like this made for RLUSD. And talking more so about partnerships being made, we also have this one as well from July 2nd. So this got announced on July 3rd. This was July 2nd. This is Ripple and OpenPayd are expanding access to fast, compliant cross-border payments, with Ripple payments now supported by OpenPayd's real-time Euro and GBP rails and direct RLUSD minting and burning. Enterprises can seamlessly move between fiat and stablecoins, exploit the infrastructure behind a real-world stablecoin utility. And if we actually go over here, we have Ripple and OpenPayd partnered to deliver enterprise-ready stablecoin and payment infrastructure. So this was announced, of course, in London. OpenPayd, a leading provider of financial infrastructure, has announced a strategic partnership with Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions, bringing together two infrastructure leaders with deep expertise across blockchain and traditional finance to deliver compliant, efficient, and scalable payment solutions for enterprise clients. Through this partnership, OpenPayd's global fiat infrastructure, including real-time payments rails, multi-currency accounts, and virtual IBANs, will support Ripple payments into Euro and GBP. Ripple's cross-border payment solution, Ripple Payments, employs blockchain and digital assets and a global network of payout partners to deliver fast, transparent, reliable cross-border payments and on/off ramps for banks, crypto companies, and fintechs worldwide. The partnership also marks a major step forward in the expansion of OpenPayd's recently launched stablecoin infrastructure. OpenPayd will provide direct minting and burning capabilities for Ripple USD. Businesses will be able to seamlessly convert between fiat and RLUSD, accessing OpenPayd's full suite of services, including embedded accounts, payments, and trading via a single API. RLUSD is an enterprise-grade USD-denominated stablecoin developed with trust, utility, and compliance at its core, backed by Ripple's years of experience working with both crypto and traditional finance. Now, this will support a wide range of use cases: cross-border payments, global treasury management, and streamlined access to US dollar liquidity. That's pretty straightforward. Then we have a few quotes down here. So Ripple has long been a pioneer in blockchain-based payments. By combining Ripple payments with OpenPayd's rail-agnostic and fully interoperable fiat infrastructure, we are delivering a unified platform that bridges traditional finance and blockchain. This partnership enables businesses to move and manage money globally, access stablecoin liquidity at scale, and simplify cross-border payments, treasury flows, and dollar-based operations. This collaboration reflects a shared belief that the key to mainstream adoption is robust first and last mile fiat infrastructure. Together, Ripple and OpenPayd are delivering the tools enterprises need to move and manage money globally and future-proof their payment strategies through blockchain-enabled finance. The future of global finance depends on seamless interoperability between traditional infrastructure and digital assets. Our collaboration with OpenPayd gives enterprises reliable access to RLUSD, combining the stability and compliance they expect with the connectivity they need. This is how we accelerate real-world adoption of stablecoins at scale. So yeah, this is just another huge announcement. And again, this is the Euro GBP market being tapped in. I mean, guys, we are watching as Ripple expands in a very, very fast way. Now, when we think about Ripple and we think about the Federal Reserve, well, we have yet to actually cover that. Let's talk a little bit about it. So the recent announcement of Ripple applying for their national bank charter, which we talked about already, we addressed how this would allow access to, Ripple holding RLUSD reserves directly with the Fed. Now, we talked about how this would also open up the door of opportunity for institutional players tapping into RLUSD for securities transaction settlements. That's definitely a big one. But what if I told you that this goes even well beyond just the scope of, all right, yeah, we get to see RLUSD being held at the Fed, and we also see access to institutional, securities transaction flows. Yeah, it definitely does go beyond that. In fact, big shout out to Ashley Prosper 1 for this. We have when Ripple gets its Fed Master account, it will have direct access to FedNow and Fed ACH. Fed ACH access will be incredible for everyday Americans. Ripple could instantly convert payroll funds into RLUSD, transforming how people get paid. And here we have down here, so February ACH could also be Fed ACH if you flip the B. Fed ACH is the Federal Reserve Bank's automated clearinghouse ACH service. In 2007, Fed ACH processed about 37 million transactions per day with an average aggregate value of about $58 billion. Now, when we think about what's going on here with the connections back to the Fed through, this license, it's definitely big, right? It's definitely big, and it will also put RLUSD on the map as being one of the only stablecoins in this space outside of course, like USDC, if we start to see it get approved. It's basically the only stablecoin that has the oversight that RLUSD will have, not just from the New York Department of Financial Services, but also even from, federal oversight. This will change the way that this market, but also even institutional players and enterprises look at RLUSD. But then we look at the Faster Payments Council. The FPC Digital Assets Work Group has just published its latest blog on stablecoins for faster payments. We now have the big players showing up. And if I do remember, we recently talked about the Faster Payments Council just a few months ago, highlighting the connections back to Ripple. There's been major reports being held from the Faster Payments Council that specifically name Ripple, but there was also even a PDF file that Ripple worked on with the Faster Payments Council together. But we also know that these two have been working together since going all the way back to 2018. Here we have from Smokedog, Ripple was elected to the Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Task Force Steering Committee to engage with more large-scale financial institutions and shape the future of U.S. payment infrastructure. This was Ryan Zagone. He was elected onto the Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Task Force Steering Committee. This has given Ripple the chance to get involved with more large-scale organizations. This was back in 2018. We're talking about 7 years ago. But also, Pat Thelen has also been on the Faster Payments Council for a very long time. Even he is talking about the Internet of Value is coming. This is from the U.S. Faster Payments Council themselves. Check it out.
Hello, everyone. I'm Pat Thielen. I'm the Vice President of Global Account Management at Ripple. We truly believe that there is an Internet of Value coming, much like the Internet provided with communications and email in the 90s and through the beginning of the millennium. Today, the payment system is advancing. And unlike a lot of the other crypto players in Ripple's space, we truly believe that the revolution is going to occur from within. So the ecosystem that the U.S. Faster Payments Council has put together will be those players that will make sure we advance the industry. The working groups that are coming out, it's the cross-border, the QR, the directory model. These are really opportunities to take that user experience, the interoperability that has been designed in the other initiatives, and really apply it to real-world problems. Many countries have leapfrogged the U.S. in real-time payments, so this is a real opportunity for us to leverage a body like this. The playing field is set, and you can either sit on the sidelines or suit up with U.S. Faster Payments Council and change the game.
Now, obviously, I've been talking about the Internet of Value. I've been talking about the Finternet as well being pushed from the BIS. They're basically the same thing. The main thing here is stablecoins. Stablecoins represent fiat currencies being tokenized on-chain. And what's even crazier about all of this, right, is that we recently had a Senate Banking Committee hold a hearing on crypto market structure. This is going to be happening on July 9th. The witnesses include Blockchain Association CEO, Chainalysis CEO, Ripple CEO, and Paradigm General Partner Dan Robinson. So Brad Garlinghouse will be at this summit on crypto market structure, making sure that we get proper legislation and regulations. And also, when we think about what's going on here, Ripple met with this admin, the same admin pushing stablecoins in a huge way, specifically USD denominated stablecoins, at a time where Ripple just applied for a major license that will allow for the Fed to actually hold reserves around RLUSD, which will also impact the offering around RLUSD within the Fed system and even the Fed Now system. And what's crazier about all of this is that Jerome Powell from the Fed chair himself, just recently called crypto stablecoins a positive step and confirmed that regulatory framework is underway. Listen closely.
Let me say on stablecoins, if I can.
Yeah.
I do share the concerns that you hear here, but I also think it's a positive step that we don't have a regulatory framework for these now in the United States. We tried very hard in the last Congress to work with, people on both sides of the aisle to create such a thing. Now it looks like we're well on the way to creating a framework, which I think is something we need. If we're going to have stablecoins, and apparently we are, we need to have a federal and state level regulatory framework, which I think we're making progress towards having.
And you got to remember that this legislation, combined with the fact that, Ripple's going for this, license, all of this combined, if we get the perfect setup here where Ripple gets approved, we get legislation around stablecoins in the market structure bill by the end of, I'll say September. I'll give it a little bit more time. So the end of September, we get legislation for this space. Ripple gets approved. That means that we could have the Fed tapped in with RLUSD, and we could start to see Ripple being integrated within the US system in a huge way. It sounds crazy, but guess what? It sounded a lot crazier a few months ago. It sounded a lot crazier a year ago. It sounded crazy back in 2017, 2018. It sounded crazy back in 2020, 2021. But now we're starting to see everything changing around crypto. A lot of these things don't sound as crazy anymore because we're finally starting to see some of the biggest moves happening around RLUSD, Ripple, and even the US system tapping in with stablecoins in a big way. I'm very excited about the future for Ripple, for RLUSD, and even for the XRP ledger, because I do believe that the XRP ledger will be a big piece of this. And I think that we are living in some crazy times around crypto right now. I'm very excited to be this early in this because we've been talking about it for a while, and almost everything that we've been talking about and speculating on, it's starting to really kind of show up in a big way. So I'm very excited about this. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.